Yes, I would like to use auto backup of save data. That would be great. Hello there, everybody. This is General Snivy, and welcome to my new Let's Play. Welcome to Let's Play God of War. Technically speaking, this is coming from the God of War Sagas collection on PlayStation 3. It includes the first 3 God of War games and also 2 more God of War games that were originally released on the PlayStation Portable, aka the PSP. So, yeah, let's hop into the first game of the collection, God of War. Speaking of God of War, I am definitely going to be playing through just this game, but as far as the other games in the series, they will be played at a future point in time. Like, way in the future. I kind of want to cover the God of War timeline, and speaking of God of War games, God of War, let me tell you, I do have a history with this game. It originally released on the PlayStation 2 back in the day. I don't remember when it was originally released on the PlayStation 2, but it did receive a remaster along with God of War 2 in its own collection on the PlayStation 3, known as the God of War collection, and there was also another collection that remastered the PlayStation Portable games. Those are God of War, Chains of Olympus, and God of War, Ghost of Sparta. So, that's gonna be fun. And, yeah, I'm gonna put this on full screen because, oddly enough, full screen is actually a feature. If you turn full screen off, it kind of does this sort of overscan kind of thing, where it doesn't quite fill in the entire screen, but I'm gonna turn this on and just see how this looks. And if anything is cut off major, then of course I'll change it back. Man, I have not played this game in years. I haven't even played this remaster on the PlayStation 3 since I bought the collection so many years ago. So, yeah, this is going to be kind of a first experience yet again, after what seems like 10,000 years. I remember playing through this game quite a lot during the PlayStation 2 era. It was one of the games I played through many times over. And yeah, I really haven't played the game since then, so it's been a long time, like at least a decade, since I've last played God of War, or at least the original God of War. So, let's start a new game. And from the start, when you first begin your first playthrough, you have a choice of 3 separate difficulties. Technically, there's a 4th one here, known as God Mode. However, you have to play through and beat the entire game at least once on any difficulty to unlock God Mode. Since I haven't played the game in so long, I'm just going to stick with a normal difficulty and just go with that. The differences between each of the difficulties is the amount of enemies that deal high amount of damage. Okay, let me try rephrasing that. What I mean to say is enemies deal more damage on higher difficulties, so enemies that don't seem like much of a threat on lower difficulties suddenly become the most annoying enemies in the universe in like Spartan and God difficulties. So, yeah, that's definitely not a lot of fun. So, just for the sake of my sanity, and so that way I can just show off the entire game, let's go with Hero, aka normal difficulty, so let's go.
The gods of Olympus have abandoned me. Now there is no hope.
And Kratos cast himself from the highest mountain in all of
Welcome
Greece.
to the stream, Blazehead 420.
After 10 years of suffering, 10 years of endless nightmares, it would finally come to an end. Death would be his escape from madness. But it had not always been this way. Kratos had once been a champion of the gods.
Foul beast! I will send you back to the depths of Hades!
Yep, I know about that too. And I'll be getting into that discussion as we're going through this thing. So here we go. Welcome to God of War. God of War is a series of hack and slash kind of games. There are two ways that you can attack. Just mash the square button to do light attacks. They come out nice and quick but don't deal very much damage. However, the heavy attacks, which are done with the triangle button, those deal more damage and are a lot more deadly too. So as you can see, the tutorials are actually very, very helpful and help give you an idea of how it is that you go about playing the game. I wouldn't necessarily count that particular instance as a spoiler, but it is good information to know nonetheless. So the idea of games such as this, and even the first God of War, and also the second one too, is combining light attacks along with heavy attacks will not only deal a great amount of damage, but are oh so freaking satisfying to be able to pull off. And not only that, but are also really, really fun to pull off too. And it's quite a spectacle too. Another thing I really love about the first few God of War games is definitely the music. Oh, hello. 0 health equals bronze trophy. I don't even know how I got that trophy, but I don't freaking care. I guess you earned that trophy for gathering some health? Okay. So in this section... Oh, hi there. How you doing? Hi there, Hydra. At this moment, the game is going to be teaching you about the blocking mechanic. There is one more sort of mechanic that I think will be introduced in just a little while, and that is the ability to roll around at the speed of sound. You use the right analog stick to move in any, or no, not move, but roll in any of 8 separate directions. Backwards, forward, left, right, up left, etc. Okay. Thankfully, this part isn't too difficult. You can just wail on him and he'll go down relatively swiftly. Okay, so now we have, oh yeah, definitely was a big fan. So now, during boss fights, and I believe throughout even normal fights too, you'll get instances where there's a circle button that hovers over the enemy's head. This activates a series of QuickTime events. It's a minigame of sorts. Just push the buttons and do the actions that appear on screen, and be sure to do it quickly. Otherwise you'll either get knocked back and receive a ton of damage as a result, or you will die, or something like that. Also, these ledges, thankfully, aren't the worst. At later points in the game, we will be encountering ledges of which are rounded, and you can't climb back up if you happen to fall. So when it comes to these, proceed slowly and carefully, and you should be fine. Yes, I too love God of War.
Stay away from me! I know who you are, Spartan. I know what you've done. I would rather die than be saved by you.
Oh dear. I wonder why he's hated so much. Guess we'll find out as we're going through the game. Hello there. So, I didn't really point out the treasure chests of which we'll find. There are 3 primarily colored treasure chests that you can find in the world. A green one, which restores your health. Red ones, which give you red orbs. Blue one, which gives you magic energy, which we don't really have much of a use for that yet. Heck, we don't even have access to said bar as of yet. Once we get our first special ability, we'll have access to magic. And trust me, it's going to be a lot of fun to unleash it. And, there are also other chests which are just completely blank. Those usually contain treasures. Speaking of treasures, I will be going for all the treasures I can possibly find. I aim for this to be a quote-unquote 100% playthrough, and my definition of 100% is getting all the items of which you can find in treasure chests around the world, and also doing the extra side activity of which the first God of War has to offer. Unlocking God mode and doing a playthrough of that is a different beast entirely. And, God mode, I'm not really looking into doing a playthrough of that. So, just one playthrough is good enough for me, in my honest opinion. And besides, this game does have a New Game Plus. And though, I've not played this collection on PlayStation 3, I'll definitely show off some of the unlockables of New Game Plus as we're going through the game. Alright, let's get to work. And here the game tells you about evading with the right analog stick. And let me tell you, evading is pretty important. It really is one of the most important mechanics that you have to master. Damn, Kratos! A little brutal, don't you think? That's one thing I love about these old God of War games. You can just go to town and just rip wings off of harpies and just stab people with your freaking blades of chaos and just overall unleash a massive bloodbath. It's so much fun. That's why I love these games so much. Speaking of which, the only God of War game that I have not played in the entire series up to this point is God of War Ascension, and also the new God of War game on PlayStation 4, which is the reboot of the God of War series, I think. Can you call that a reboot? I think it's more like a unannounced sequel, just not named as such. Oh, hi there, Hydra. Okay. I guess this is the reason why the game is telling you about dodging and dodge rolling. As dodge rolling will allow you to get some serious distance from enemies as they're wailing and attacking. Plus, I believe while you're rolling around, you have some iframes, but I could be wrong. Oh dear. Occasionally, if you end up getting caught by an enemy and end up getting attacked by them, you'll activate yet another minigame in which you have to button mash in order to escape. But it is also a high-risk, high-reward kind of thing, too, as not only can you deal some serious damage to the enemy, but you'll also be able to pull off a spectacular escape. And trust me, we're going to be doing things like that fairly often. Anyway, the controls for this game are really dang simple. They honestly are. Man, that is so sweet. I guess another thing worth pointing out too is sometimes if you end up getting caught by an enemy attack which activates a minigame, if you manage to pull off the win, you'll gain some health back in return. But again, if you're too slow, then you will instantly die or receive a ton of damage. Also, our bar is completely filled up when it comes to our red orbs. What's cool about this is as you're filling up this gauge, if you push the start button, you can level up not only your Blades of Chaos, but also other magical abilities as you come across them. And here, we can just press the X button to funnel power orbs into your blades and magic. I'm not too sure how many levels are required for unlocking the full extent of these powers here, but if you push start, you can view how many red orbs you have, and each upgrade requires a certain amount of red orbs in order to upgrade that particular weapon or ability up to the next level. With when they upgrade to the next level, or any level for that matter, they will in turn get stronger, more powerful, deal more damage, and maybe even grant you additional benefits. So it's very much worth it trying to upgrade every single ability that you can up to their maximum potential. And even if you can't do that during your first playthrough, you can still carry over these orbs and abilities and whatnot over to your next playthrough too. That's one of the many benefits of New Game Plus, which I will be going over at a later point, like after we finish the main adventure. Right now, it's time to continue. One thing about the God of War series that I never really paid much attention of is that this really focuses a lot on Greek mythology, such as gods and everything of that nature. And even shows some, I think it even mentions some things about the Chinese zodiac. Nah. No, that can't be right because... Okay, yeah. That doesn't make any sense. Chinese zodiac is something else entirely. This series primarily focuses on Roman mythology. So, we have plenty of references to gods like Zeus and Hades, Poseidon, people of that nature. What do we have over here? That I kind of wonder. But first, I wonder what's back here. Like I said, I haven't played this game in so many years. So please forgive me if I'm running around like a blind idiot. It's just been that long since I've last played God of War. Let me tell you. Hello there. Dang it! Well, that was lame. Oh well, let's try that again now, shall we? Thankfully in normal difficulty, and I believe easy difficulty as well, there are plenty of checkpoints scattered throughout and about. I'm not so sure about the higher difficulties, such as hard and also God mode. I think in those difficulties... Damn it! The checkpoints are more spread out. Speaking of God of War, I've seen a couple of clips of people speedrunning the God of War games on the PlayStation 3 and just completely destroying the game in the sense of just completely breaking progression. So what I mean by that is they just proceed to later parts of the game with a series of complicated and precise jumps at certain locations at certain times and with certain abilities, etc., etc. It's quite a lot of fun and really fascinating to watch. Just like with any speedrun of any video game ever, but I'm just saying.
It's you! visions, they were real. The gods came to me, told me their champion would come and rescue us from the Hydra. But you're too late. We're pinned down.
It's never too late, dude. It's never too late to make a grand entrance.
The ships are all destroyed. All hope is lost, Spartan. Even for you.
Well then. This looks like a fun engagement. Also, we have this pillar of light. The glowing light is... These are save points. So, throughout the entirety of the game, you'll come across these pillars of light, which allow you to save your progress. I highly recommend saving at every single opportunity. So, let's go ahead and create save data. And I believe whenever you do create save data, you have access to 4 separate save files that you can utilize. So, that's pretty sweet. It's highly recommended that you create a save slot within many opportunities as you can. Ow. Okay, so for this, what we need to do here is we need to take this block and push it all the way towards the very end of the ship. All while trying to avoid getting shot to death. Which, thankfully enough, it's pretty easy to do, as these guys, damn it, they don't have very good aim. And for whatever reason, even if the block is destroyed by the arrows, it's really not that bad, as the blocks themselves respawn infinitely. However, you should still try to preserve the box as much as possible. If it takes too many hits, then obviously the box gets destroyed. The game also takes the opportunity to introduce you to charging a kick, a sort of Sparta kick, to push boxes and stuff of that nature. Hi there. How you all doing? Ready to dance? Come on, baby. Let's dance. Let's party like it's 1999, fools. You can't beat me. Says the guy who fell off a frickin' beam at least 2 or 3 times. Okay. Funny enough, those enemies I think can be ignored for the most part. You don't have to defeat them if you don't want to, but it's highly recommended that you do so anyway and try to defeat every enemy that you encounter. So that way you can get the most amount of red orbs possible. Oh dear. I wonder what's going on there. I kind of want to join in on the fun. Despite the people screaming, they may be screaming tears of joy. Okay, so now we have rope combat. Rope combat kind of works like this. You just climb around and push square to do a straight swipe, which, again, much like the light attacks, don't deal a whole lot of damage. But they're straight as an arrow and are very quick to execute. Long swipes will deal more damage and will cover a greater distance and also cover your attacks in an arc. But, as a result, the attacks come out slower. So that's something you have to keep in mind. Okay. You can also jump too to help speed things along. Also, if an enemy gets up close in your grill, you can do a risky strat of just grabbing them and just banging them against the wall. Or against the rope in this case. And just throw them down off the face of the earth. Just like that. See you in hell! Man, that's so much fun. Just keep in mind, in later parts of the game, these sort of abilities when climbing the ropes and stuff are something you're going to have to keep in mind. And also, enemies will try to knock you down in every opportunity possible. And if they manage to do so, they may end up insta-killing you depending on where you are. So be sure to keep that in mind. I have a feeling this will lead to treasure. I'm not too sure. But it's worth a look anyway. Aha! As I thought. Let's see, how many orbs do I have? One thing about the first God of War game is that it doesn't really tell you how many orbs you have in your possession. Not until you go to the power-up screen and see for yourself as you're going to, as if you're going to upgrade something. Alright, off we go! One thing I definitely remember about the God of War games is that they are not very long. At least the first two aren't. Also, we have our first Gorgon eye. Or is it Gorgon? Whatever. After you collect 5 of these, your health will be permanently increased. And it increases in increments for every 5 that you find. I'm not 100% sure how many there are in the world, but there are some. Just be sure to be on the lookout for these things as much as possible. And hello, what do we have here? Looks like our first major special ability. Let's check it out, see what it does.
Lord Poseidon.
Kratos, before you reach Athens, there is a task you must complete. This beast, this Hydra, it has terrorized my seas for far too long. Your skills are admirable, but you will need assistance. You will need the power of the gods. Take this weapon, Kratos. Take this power and use it to defeat your enemies.
Indeed I shall. So with that, we have acquired Poseidon's Rage, our first special ability.
Go with the gods, Kratos. Go forth in the name of Olympus.
So, in order to select our new ability, we just push any direction on the D-pad, or in this case, just push right on the D-pad, and then push L2 to activate the attack. And damn, is that freaking sweet. But like I said, it does cost a lot of magic to use. And in order to restore magic, what you have to do is just defeat enemies or find chests of which are blue. So don't go overboard when it comes to using your magic powers. Save it for when you need it most. Otherwise, you may put yourself in a very risky situation where you may just end up wasting all of your magic energy, and that's not something that you want to do. One thing worth noting is, though you do have access to 4 separate save files, it's a good idea to make backups in increments, so that way, if you end up missing something, you can actually backtrack a little bit, as there are a lot of points of no return in this game. So that's something that you need to keep in mind. Thankfully, there are means of being able to, you can technically go back by means of either reloading an older save file or waiting until New Game Plus. That is another way of going back to previous areas. So, just something that's worth mentioning.
Get them away from the ship! Why won't they die? It's the giant one! He keeps healing the others! No, God! We'll never get out of here! Doomed! We're doomed! We're all...
Hi there!
Poseidon, save me.
Ouchie, ouch. Hello there, Hydra. You ready for a bloodbath, buddy? I sure as hell am. Let's go. Time to fight Hydra! And just like with the Hydra from Greek mythology, it has many, many heads. And if you cut one, 2 more will appear. But I don't think that's the case in this game. It's just a metaphor, if you know what I mean. So, in order to defeat the main head of the Hydra, we need to first take down these other 2 heads. So while you're dealing damage to each of these heads of Hydra, you can unleash your magic power and just completely annihilate these things. However, just like with any boss, you do have to complete a minigame in order to truly defeat them. And in this case, it's just a small platforming challenge. It's nothing major here, but it is something worth mentioning. It does take a little bit of time to complete, but thankfully it's not that bad. It really is. Plus, with the Poseidon's Rage, you can just completely wreck these things in a matter of seconds. Especially with later upgrades and everything, when they become even stronger. Okay. Up we go. Time to fight the big, freaking ugly beast itself. Hello there, Hydra. And I'm pretty sure if this thing chomps on you, you'll either receive a ton of damage or you will instantly die. It's also annoying with the fact that this Hydra has a huge tendency to blow you off of the attack platform. Also, you can't attack this without taking down the other 2 heads first. If you don't take those heads down, I believe those heads will try to attack you and defeat you. They'll just try to knock you down, and they'll manage to do so relatively easily. The boss is also pretty annoying with the fact that it has a huge tendency to just throw you off the arena constantly by roaring. I'm kind of surprised that Kratos' eardrums aren't broken or destroyed or anything thanks to the Hydra's loud roar. Come on, man. By the way, I think if you guard for too long, or if the enemy's attack is too strong, then what will happen is the enemy will perform a guard break, leaving you vulnerable for about a couple of seconds. Oh, hello. Oh, come on! Really? Not sure why I couldn't activate that little minigame prompt. Oh well. We'll just go again. Not a big deal. I think if you end up missing one of those minigame prompts, then the boss ends up healing a little bit. Not sure by how much, but it is something worth mentioning nonetheless. So all in all, the name of the game of God of War is chaining combos like a madman. Chaining light attacks with heavy attacks, and heavy attacks with light attacks. And I believe as you upgrade the Blades of Chaos, you'll get access to new combos, which you can perform. And let me tell you, performing those combos is quite a lot of fun to do. Again, another thing I really love about this game, and even second game in the series, is definitely the music. I freaking love the music of this series. Always so freaking epic. It's just really enjoyable to listen to. Though I don't have very many songs of God of War in my iTunes library, it's not like that really matters all that much. It may not look like we're doing a whole lot of damage against the Hydra, but trust me, as we're dealing more and more damage to the thing, it will get to the point where we will manage to destroy the mast and use it as a massive spear. So if anyone has watched the movie Jaws, or watched the ending of it, and I mean the one where it's uncut and not the one where they censor it by making it so the shark explodes, this one I'm talking about is the quote-unquote uncensored ending, where you stab the shark with the frickin' bow of the ship. It's the same sort of thing here, except it's with the mast. Alright. One more time, baby. Once more for Papa Bear! Okay. Looks like the mast is destroyed for the most part. Still have a little bit of work left to do, though. I'm not sure, but I feel as though you can use Poseidon's Rage as a means of activating iframes, though it does take a bit of time to fully activate. So you kind of have to activate it very, very early. There is one more thing that I haven't yet mentioned about red orbs, and that is another way you can really earn a lot of them relatively quickly is unleashing a ton of hits. The more times you hit an enemy during a combo, the more red orbs you'll receive as a bonus. Dang it! There is one more thing worth mentioning, and that is when climbing up platforms and such, you can climb up them relatively quickly by mashing the jump button going upwards. Doing so will allow you to get back to where you need to be very, very quickly, and it's also incredibly useful for speed running. Okay, let's finish this! Ooh, right in the eye. Boom, baby! Damn! Right through the eyes and the throat. Oh, man. Man, that is so awesome. Damn. Well, with the main head down, Hydra is no more. Okay. There is still the matter of the key that's missing, so let's take care of that, shall we?
Thank you! Thank the gods you came back for me!
I didn't come back for you.
What a jerk. But anywho, we acquired the key to the captain. Or the key of the captain, rather. Kinda sucks that Kratos decided to just let the captain die. But that's just how he is. And there's a good reason for that, too. Alrighty, we're just about done here. Or at least done with this first part of the entire game. Just got a couple of chests to pick up, and then we could just slide on back to where we need to go. There we go. Another Gorgon Eye is ours. I could be wrong, but I feel as though there are two of 2 Gorgonized, and I believe 2 other items of which we can get our hands on at a later point. Like starting in the second area where magic was introduced in this area. I believe the Gorgonized are the ones that increase health, and there are also Phoenix Feathers, I think. I could be wrong, but I believe that's what they are. But anyway, those items will allow you to increase your magic bar and increase it permanently, so it's a permanent upgrade. There is one more thing that I haven't really talked about when it comes to throwing enemies, and that is you can actually throw them by means of throwing them against other enemies by pushing the square button and looking at the screen where a blue sort of spear of light is being located. That is essentially your targeting indicator. The targeting indicator is useful for figuring out where you need to throw your enemies. Okay, well that took a little more time than I would have liked, that's for sure. Still don't have enough red orbs for an upgrade yet. Damn! Well, red orbs are, let me tell you, they're not they are easy to acquire, but the upgrades themselves require a lot of red orbs in order to upgrade something to their maximum potential. Okay. Let's see what's in here, inside the captain's quarters, now that we can finally access this room. Honestly, this place looks a lot bigger than it should be. Oh dear. There we go. All done.
Slaughtered like animals, the victims lay before him, a reminder of his own past, a past he could never escape. His only solace was the sea, endlessly sailing from one harbor to the next in service to the gods of Olympus. All his hopes rested with them. For no matter how much wine he consumed or how many women he took to his bed, nothing on earth could rid him of the horrors that plagued his mind.
Athena!
10 years, Athena. I have faithfully served the gods for 10 years. When will you relieve me of these nightmares?
We request one final task of you, Kratos. Your greatest challenge awaits in Athens, where even now my brother Ares lays siege as we speak. Athens is on the verge of destruction. It is the will of Ares my great city fall. Zeus has forbidden the gods from waging war on each other. That is why it must be you, Kratos. Only a mortal trained by a god has a chance at defeating Ares.
And if I am able to do this, to kill a god, then the visions, they will end?
Complete this final task, and the past that consumes you will be forgiven. Have faith, Kratos. The gods do not forget those who come to their aid.
Leaving the rotting carcass of the Hydra behind, Kratos set sail once more. His greatest challenge and freedom from his growing madness lay before him in the ancient city of Athens.
Before we head on off to Athens, aka our greatest challenge yet, we have a little bit of fun to have with our lady friends in bed here.
Stay, Kratos. Just a bit longer.
Speaking of which, when it comes to the YouTube version of this, I'm going to be censoring this a little bit. So in other words, I'm just going to be censoring the boobs, because I do not want to get my hands on a community guideline strike. That is something I really want to avoid like the frickin' plague.
Come back to bed, Kratos.
So, this is essentially a God of War tradition. And that is, in every game, there is essentially a way where you can get a ton of red orbs early on in the game. And that is, make some sweet love to the ladies you find. So, let's party! Ooh, I wonder what's going on over here.
Don't go yet.
Dang it, I missed. Alright, let's try again. I love the noises that they make. Ooh, way to come! Rockin' the boat, baby! That's how Kratos rolls. Okay, well that was a fun time. And even if you would go and make more love to the ladies in bed again, you won't be getting as many red orbs as you would the first time through. And as far as I'm aware, God of War and God of War 2 are the games that I know of that have the sex minigame. Thankfully, the sex scene is censored in the sense of just panning the camera away and just focusing on the pot. And you can essentially just hear the noises of which the women make, and also watch as the pod shatters. So at least that's a clever way of avoiding an adults-only rating. And besides, it's only one instance of that in the entire game, and it's like very early on anyway. So, yeah, like I said, the YouTube version, I'm going to be censoring that in the sense of just censoring the boobs, and that's really about it. I may get a little creative with the censorship, but again, I want to avoid getting any sort of community guideline strikes or any age restrictions on the video when it gets uploaded to YouTube later. So, yeah, figure I'd throw that out there. Still not enough. Even after that. Wow, that's kind of lame. Alright, let's move on to the gates of Athens.
Destroy Ares, and the gods will forgive you your past.
Are you sure you're saying that correctly? But anyway, the reason why Kratos is running around like a mindless slave serving the gods is because he kinda did a big oopsie in the past, where he was about to die and he just essentially gave his life to one of the gods. And as a result, he then mindlessly served that god until some events occurred that oh, hi! Hello! Way to be rude! Rude much? Go away! Please! Trying to explain plot. Like a yo-yo, baby. Man, I love doing that. But anyway, as I was trying to say, when he was serving one of the gods, he made a very, very bad mistake, and it ended up costing him greatly. And so, as a result, he's essentially permanently a white ghost. Not only that, but his weapon of choice is permanently attached to him. Not only that, but he also keeps having these really bad nightmares that just never seem to end. This will all be explained in greater detail as we go further and further into the game, but I figure I'd throw this out there just for the sake of doing so. Also, why do you feel like interrupting me with yet another tutorial of how to block? I know how to block, I know how to do it, so Yeah. Screw you. By the way, at this point in the game, we're introduced to new enemy types that are technically stronger and cannot be grabbed upon first contact. So, in order to get to the point where we can grab them, we have to deal enough damage to them until a red circle icon appears. In which case, just push it and you'll be able to pick them up, throw them around, stab them, do whatever you want. So, that's pretty nice. Now, swimming controls in this game is really straightforward. You just move the left analog stick around while in the water to swim. Unfortunately, Kratos cannot dive underwater in this game as far as I'm aware, so that is kinda lame. However, he can jump out of the water as if he was Super Mario, so that's pretty interesting. And it's definitely something worth mentioning. Anyway, another thing I haven't really mentioned about God of War is that it is a very linear game, but it does feature some branching paths that oftentimes lead to extra goodies. So it's definitely worth going off the beaten path to try and track down those hidden goodies, as they will become more helpful than you can possibly know. Okay, do I? Okay, no. Not enough for an upgrade just yet, but we will soon. By the way, in order for a combo to be maintained, you essentially have to keep fighting and keep button mashing and don't get hit. Otherwise, the combo stops. Also, what I did there was just, I parried. You can parry an enemy attack by means of, pushing the L1 button at just the right moment, like just as the enemy attacked you. If you manage to pull that off, then, you'll be able to leave the enemy vulnerable for several seconds. And, hello Shawaria Mox, welcome to the stream. And I understand, I totally do, I forgive you. Again, sometimes things come up and you have to leave right away. I understand. Like I said, sometimes things just come up and you have to step away, and I understand that completely. Also, we managed to get enough red orbs to upgrade our Blades of Chaos. With level 2, we now have some new combos we can pull off, plus a new ability known as the Rage of the Gods. The Rage of the Gods can be activated when the meter is filled up by pushing L3 and R3 at the same time. Essentially what that does, it makes it so Kratos is not only invincible, but also makes it so he has, I think, unlimited magic for the duration of Rage of the Gods, and also his attacks are a hell of a lot faster to execute. I love the game too. Okay, cool.
Let the rage of the gods drive your blades, Kratos.
And I believe if you upgrade the Blades of Chaos first, you'll get access to Rage of the Gods right away. However, I think at a later point in this level here, we will get Rage of the Gods no matter what. So, even if you don't get this upgrade, it's not a big deal if you miss it. As you can always upgrade your Blades of Chaos at a later point in time, and you'll also get the other abilities associated with the second level of the Blades of Chaos. Also, I'm not 100% sure, but I feel as though each and every single ability here that you can unlock here, I believe they can be upgraded 5 times. Once they reach level 5, then that'll mean that they cannot be upgraded any further, and they're at their maximum power. With the Blades of Chaos, as you're upgrading them and making them more and more powerful, they change. They change. And with this treasure chest here, we got ourselves a Phoenix Feather. Like I mentioned before, you collect 5 of them and they will upgrade your magic bar permanently. Just like with the Gorgon Eyes, they upgrade in increments. So, yeah. I believe with each area going forward now, there are now 2 Phoenix Feathers and 2 Gorgon Eyes, of which you have to find in each area. So, yeah. Figure I'd throw that out there. Also, I'm glad that Shiwario Mox really likes God of War as well. Like I mentioned before, I too am a major fan of the series. Okay, now how the heck am I supposed to get out of here? By the way, in order to hold on to the treasures that you have, in order to hold on to the treasures that you find and everything like that, you do have to make it to the next checkpoint. By the way, checkpoints are invisible. They're invisible markers, so you can't really tell if you found a checkpoint or not. Damn it. You know what, whatever. I think that's how I was supposed to leave this part anyway, so not a big deal. So like I said, definitely well worth running around trying to find everything. And also take different paths. If it looks like you're heading towards progression, don't be afraid to backtrack, as backtracking can help you immensely. So,
Run! Run! The beasts have taken Athens!
oh dear.
Look out!
Oof. Damn, dude.
No! No! Stay away from me!
Ow! He'll be feeling that in the afterlife. Oh dear. Now we have some new enemies. I believe these are Minotaurs. Then again, they may be another species of enemies altogether. I guess this is a good time to unleash the Rage of the Gods. Okay, so I was wrong about Rage of the Gods granting unlimited magic, as they don't do that. But they do make you invincible and make your attacks come out that much faster. Plus, it makes Kratos look like an utter badass. Okay, yeah, these are Minotaurs. Sweet. Another thing worth noting is that if you manage to pull off an execution-like kill against certain enemies, you'll be granted additional resources such as health, magic, and also maybe some red orbs here and there. So that's pretty sweet. Definitely try to go for those kinds of kills as often as you can, as you'll not only unleash a hell of a show.
Reinforcements arrived!
What?
Ares has brought these beasts to Athens! Without help, the city will fall!
Gates destroyed! You'll have to fight another war!
Ow! Damn! That's what happens when you have a really bad day. Dear. Oh, hello. Looks like we have a new enemy. It looks like an ogre. But anyway, this is the first instance of these kinds of enemies here. They're very heavy-hitting kind of enemies. And as such, they require a ton of heads to take down and are also relatively dangerous. So dodging them by rolling around is a must, as if you try to block them, unless you parry them perfectly, it's going to hurt, and you won't be able to block the attack. So that's something worth mentioning. Fun fact about these ogres is that originally when the game was being developed, these ogres were supposed to have genitalia showing. So in other words, they were supposed to show penises and balls, but those were removed for whatever reason. Thankfully in God of War 2, they did restore their genitalia. So that's pretty nice. But even so, figure I'd throw that out there. Phew. Well, that was definitely fun. Dealing with those kinds of enemies can be kind of frustrating at times, but as long as you keep hammering them, keep dodging their attacks left and right, it is pretty easy to watch them choreograph their attacks when they do certain actions such as rubbing the ground or doing something else entirely. You can use that opportunity to either parry their attacks or make your escape. It really depends on what it is that you can do, depending on the size of the arena, and how strong you are, too. That also helps a lot. So I figured I'd throw that out there. Okay, so at this point now, we have a chest which can change colors. If you're going for something in particular, such as magic or red orbs, or even health, just wait for the chest to change colors, then push and hold R2, and that color will stay locked in place, so long as you're attempting to open the chest. So, another fun thing about God of War is that it does not primarily focus on just button mashing and killing everything in sight. There's also some light puzzle solving and platforming that goes around the bout too. So, that's pretty awesome. In rooms such as these, you have to perform a puzzle by knocking down some platforms, destroying some wooden crates, which I have no idea how it is they're able to maintain the weight of these metal boxes, but whatever, video game logic is just weird. Hello, what do we have over here? We have the third Gorgon Eye. Sweet. Also some more magic too. By the way, I haven't really talked about how you go about refilling your Rage of the Gods meter. You can refill this meter by attacking enemies, dealing damage, and that's really how you go about doing that. And that's really the only way that I know of that you can refill the Rage of the Gods meter with. So, figure I'd throw that out there. By the way, I haven't really talked about the double jump yet. There was a tutorial back in the first area about how to execute a double jump. Just double tap the X button. It's as simple as that. One thing that can be kind of annoying is in some areas you have to deal with the camera. The camera is sometimes not the best in some places, but thankfully it's not like a 90s era camera. It's still pretty annoying, but not that bad. It really isn't. Okay. Oh, hello. We have some boxes over here. Oh, okay. I guess they can't be destroyed. That makes sense. Hello. We have a new power.
Aphrodite.
Kratos, the gods are pleased with your progress, but your current skills will not be enough to defeat the minions of Ares. I offer you the power to freeze your enemies where they stand, but you must earn such a gift. Medusa, the queen of the Gorgons. Bring me her head, Kratos, and I will give you the ability to wield its power.
Sounds fun. Say hello to Medusa. This enemy is also pretty common, and also very annoying. Whenever Medusa does that staring attack, if you stare at her for too long or get caught in its gaze for too long, you'll turn to stone. In which case you'll have to quickly button mash in order to escape. If you're not fast enough in doing that, Medusa will just utterly destroy you and kill you as a result. So in other words, she'll shatter your statue, which is very, very bad. So, if you see that Medusa's doing this, just roll around until she stops. Afterwards, just mash away. Okay, let's have some fun. Ooh. Ooh, yeah! That's what Papa Bear's talking about. And with that, we got Medusa's Gaze.
Freeze and destroy them all with Medusa's gaze, and the power of the Gorgon will be yours.
Okay, so here's how Medusa's Gaze works. Just push and hold L2 to essentially freeze an enemy in place. Afterwards, just push and hold the square button, and eventually they'll turn to stone. And when you turn the enemy to stone, you'll have a little bit of time before they end up breaking free, in which case you won't gain any sort of bonuses for destroying the statues themselves, but you will gain some extra orbs by means of being able to completely shatter their statues and everything. So that's pretty awesome. And honestly, that's a pretty nice compensation for an ability such as this. As with its level 1 variation, it takes quite a while for it to activate.
Go with the gods, Kratos. Go forth in the name of Olympus.
So as I was saying, it does take quite a while for the ability to fully activate at its current level, which I believe is level 1. And this requires 3,000 orbs in order to power up this ability. So when you're deciding on what to upgrade, you'll be able to view what you get for upgrading the ability to its maximum power and unleash its next level. So for instance, with Poseidon's Rage, our next upgrade, it'll be a bigger damage area, more power, and we can do a spin attack as a result. And with Medusa's Gaze, it has a stronger freeze beam, Gorgon Flash, which is an instant freeze attack, but it costs a ton of magic power. So really, it's a very useful ability for some of the bigger enemies in the game. But one thing to keep in mind though is that, again, this ability does drain your magic. Plus, it also costs quite a lot of it just to use it. And another thing about this ability too is that it leaves you very vulnerable for a large period of time. So really, it can be useful in some situations. Especially for some of the bigger, slower enemies as they're trying to roam around and try to destroy you. But even so, it's something to keep in mind as you're trying to figure out what abilities to use and when. And again, if you want to switch abilities, just push the directions on the D-pad to change abilities. So Poseidon's Rage is always assigned to the right D-pad, and the left D-pad is Medusa's Gaze, so that's awesome. And you can even switch the abilities on the fly too, so again, also sweet. What do we have over here? Hang on, can this change? No, it can't. Alright, I'll just take it. This looks kind of suspicious. Then again, maybe it's just part of the environment. Before we move on, let's see what we got over here. Looks like nothing, but I'm pretty sure there is something we need to do with the wall over here. There is a save point here, which it may be a good idea to just go ahead and activate this. Just so that way we can mark our progress. And like I said, save at every opportunity that you can. As far as this... Okay, this activates the turning mechanism for the crossbow. Or is this a gondola? Regardless, it's essentially like a crossbow. It looks like a crossbow, but acts like a gondola. Okay, that was something after all. I figured as much. Thankfully, this thing has infinite ammo, so that's pretty nice. As a result, we can experiment and see what we can find. In that chest, we'll have yet another phoenix feather we can use, which I believe that's the second and last phoenix feather for this sort of location. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is what we have. By the way, not only can you go to the menu screen to view power-ups, you can push L1 or R1 to move across separate menus. Here we have our moves list, which lists every single move that you can perform in the entire game. And also, abilities that are marked in question marks are abilities of which you have to unlock yet. So, yeah. As you upgrade your abilities to become stronger, more and more combos will become available to you. And as far as items are concerned, I think this will tell you what items that you currently have in your possession. These items are essentially key items. And here we have another sort of collectible I'll be trying to go for as well. This is the moose key. Keys in the shape of mooses. Only 2 exist in the world. And I believe if you manage to get both of those, you'll be able to unlock something incredibly powerful. So that is something that's definitely worth mentioning. Dang it. Well, I guess I'm going to be backtracking a bit. If you want to move around relatively quickly, you're going to have to do a lot of rolling around at the speed of sound. What can I say? We got places to go. We gotta follow our rainbow, dang it. We can't stick around. We gotta keep moving on. Because what lies ahead, only one way to find out. And I will stop now, as I'm pretty sure that's going to be annoying people to death. Oh, okay, this is one way of getting around. If you happen to grab the ledge in the right way, you can essentially shimmy across them. Although if you go a little too far off the edge, you'll unfortunately throw yourself off, and that's not fun. Okay. Dang it. One thing about the jumping in this game, or at least when jumping off of walls, is that unlike your regular jumps and also double jump, there's no sort of mid-air control that you can employ here. Unless you shimmy across platforms, in which case you can do that just fine. But even so, figure I throw it out there. I definitely want to go for those blood chests, that's for sure. I guess another thing worth pointing out too is that despite the fact that you can climb up things really quickly... Damn it. Perhaps there's a way I can There's gotta be a way up there. Maybe there's some sort of rope or something I can find. Excuse me. I definitely want to grab those chests that are over there, because I feel like if I go too far, I won't have an opportunity to grab them. At least not again anytime soon. damn it. I hate that. I hate it when I overshoot a jump. And again, with the lack of mid-air control, it definitely doesn't help things along either, especially when trying to do some precise platforming. And I believe in order to get off of these walls here, you do have to jump. You have to jump for it. Oh, damn it! Well, that was lame. Okay. I'm gonna turn on my fan real quick. Oh, man, I'm sweating my freaking butt off right now. Oh, man, I definitely need that. I would open up my window, but the thing is, it's raining right now. Damn it. Okay, maybe I should just say screw it and just jump for the other platform instead. Rather than just keep struggling to land on the one platform that's in front of me. Maybe that's what you're supposed to do. And I'm just being a doofus. Okay, really? Okay. Let's go again. That's better. Man, I can't believe that took as long as it did. Jesus. The thing about God of War is, like I mentioned before, it is a very linear game, and there are a ton of hallways. So, that is something you kind of have to keep in mind. Okay. I think one thing I could probably do is, just save data here, and if I fall, I could probably reload the game and get back here even faster than trying to traverse through the normal way. Okay. It's also a good idea to try to use all 4 save files, like, so that way you can keep track of what you need to find. Okay, what is over here? I think this is progression. Ooh, what's down here? Guess we'll find out now. Oh, hi! How y'all doing? I think this is an alternate path in which you can take, which, again, will lead to some nice goodies. Let's see what's in here. We have another Gorgon Eye. Sweet. Okay, that was awesome. Awesome to see. And this is essentially a shortcut to back here. Interesting. At least now we have an easier way to get back up to where we were previously. So that's pretty nice. But it still bothers me that I still can't get to where I want to go with those chests. Maybe I can find something this way? I have a feeling that this is progression too. Oh dear, this is gonna hurt. Okay, that wasn't that bad. Maybe I'm supposed to fall from up there. I don't know. The thing about this game is, despite the linearity and the linear nature of it, there are plenty of ways that you can traverse the world. Or at least a couple of different ways that you can traverse and take alternate paths to find optional goodies. and even multiple ways to solve a problem. Wow. Okay, I'm kind of surprised that the combo's still going despite, okay, now it's gone. Will you please just fall? Thank you. Jeez, that was a pain in the butt. Okay. I'm not sure what's up this way, but I'm pretty sure this leads to progression, so let's just go back down. Again, like I said, I haven't played this game in so many years, so almost made it over there. There might be a way I can essentially act kind of like a attack helicopter and just essentially glide over to where I need to go. Maybe. I have no idea. Okay, that's just a dead end. Alrighty then. Good to know. Maybe I'm supposed to use this again? Guess I'll find out now. Okay then. That answers that question. Again, try to save as often as you possibly can. You never know when you're going to need that save point. Especially when trying to progress at later points in the game. And also, try to go back to areas where you might have missed a few items. I seriously want those chests. Damn it. I feel like there is a way I can just double jump over to where they are. But I just can't quite figure out how. Then again, maybe I am supposed to go a little bit further and then jump in a different way. I honestly am not very sure at this moment. The thing about that jump is those metal bars that are just blocking that area, they kind of get in the way, and though you can double jump over them, the thing about them is... Dang it! What am I trying to say? They kind of block your way and make it so you can't jump over there. Maybe I can work with something like this. Go a bit higher up and then jump? Nope. As that doesn't get me the angle I need. Plus, I think I was hitting some invisible walls. I'm not too sure. Okay. I think we have enough orbs to upgrade something. Or we don't. Okay, one thing that's definitely worth noting is when it comes to upgrading things, the more you upgrade and the more upgrades you purchase, later variations and later levels will become more and more expensive to acquire. So in other words, they require more and more orbs in order to unlock them. Figured I'd throw that out there, just for the sake of doing so. Again, I want these chests. I think those chests just contain some red orbs anyway. Now that I think about it, maybe I'm supposed to progress a little bit further forward and then jump down from a later point. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna go with it and see for sure. Man, I love juggling enemies like this. It's just so much fun. It honestly is. It's like playing with a yo-yo. Aha! That's what I had to do. Okay. Now it makes a hell of a lot more sense. And that should be enough to be able to upgrade something. Indeed it is. Time to upgrade Poseidon's Rage. It's funny how Medusa's Gaze is more expensive than any of the other abilities. At least at this point in time. Anyway, with Poseidon's Rage level 2, we have a bigger damage area, more power, and Wrath of Poseidon. So, with this, if we push L2 to activate the ability, we can rapidly push Circle to unleash even more pain and misery upon our enemies, which is freaking awesome. And, funny enough, the Blades of Chaos level 2 upgrade is less expensive than the level 1 upgrade for Medusa's Gaze. That's kind of funny. But I am going to try to keep a nice balance between the abilities that I have and just upgrade them like one level at a time. So even if one upgrade is less expensive than another, so long as things are in like level 1, 2, etc., once everything is up to their next level, I will go ahead and upgrade the abilities even further. And like I mentioned before, I will try to upgrade all the abilities to their maximum potential. Though, one thing I will have to mention is, I may have to end up doing a New Game Plus playthrough, but I may end up doing that off-screen. But I'll get into that at a later point in time. Right now, we have some work we need to get done. Okay. So at this point, now the game's going to be teaching you how to traverse from one platform to another and essentially jump from one area to the next. To do this, you just have to line yourself up to the side of the wall or to a part of the wall where you want to jump to and wait for Kratos to just slightly hang off and then go ahead and jump. And it's as simple as that, really. Goodbye. Have a nice trip. See you next fall. Sorry, couldn't resist. Like I said, the enemies will try to knock you off of your feet and off of the wall. And if they do that over certain parts of the area, it acts as a one-hit death. So that is something to keep in mind. Speaking of deaths, if at some point you are struggling a lot and you die a certain number of times, when you choose to respawn at the previous checkpoint, the game will then ask you if you wish to lower the difficulty level. I don't know if this affects trophies or not, but if I have to guess, it probably does for like certain later trophies, such as for example, you're struggling and you're playing on God difficulty. If the game sees that you're struggling, it gives you an opportunity to essentially downgrade the difficulty to a lower one. And as a result, you may end up missing the trophy for the higher difficulty reward. I could be wrong in that aspect, but I'm pretty sure that is something that can happen. Especially when you're trying to button mash through something. Hello. And down you go! Hooray for mindless destruction! Looks like we have a little bit of a higher climb to go through yet. Of course, before we head that way, I kinda want to head back upwards to see if I can find anything else. Who knows, I may end up finding another red chest or something. We'll definitely see as soon as we make it. And okay, nothing was here. Again, like I said, haven't played the game in a long time, like over a decade. And forgive me if it seems like it's my first playthrough. It's far from it. It's definitely not my first rodeo in the God of War universe. Or even this game in general. Okay. Alright, come on. Okay. I think we're good here. I think we gotten everything that we needed, so let's go ahead and get ready to move on to the next major part of this level. Oh, hi there! Now we have another one of these Medusa-like enemies. Just like with the Medusa Queen before, they will try to gaze at you and just try to ruin your day. Oh yeah, that feels good. Decapitating Medusa will always yield magic orbs. Wow. Honestly, I forgot about that. So if you're running low on magic, take a risk, make mistakes, and unleash hell and decapitate any Medusas you may find. Thankfully, if you do end up failing one of those quick time event instances, it's not like the enemy heals or anything. At least regular enemies don't. Bosses, yeah, they may still heal occasionally. Okay. Another thing that's worth noting is that these Medusa enemies...
Your blades, Kratos.
What happens with them is you cannot use the Medusa gaze on these enemies. Because if you try to use them, it will not affect them at all. What's more is that the game does have a bit of an indicator when you're trying to aim with the Medusa, or Medusa's gaze for that matter. I'm surprised that even accepted that. I'll take it. Anyway, as I was trying to say, the game does have an indicator. When you're aiming with it, if it's red, that means that the ability does not have any effect on that enemy, so don't even bother wasting your magic power on them. Unless they somehow get in the way. In which case, you may not have much of a choice in that matter when trying to target another enemy. Just something to keep in mind as you're going through this. Ouch. Thankfully, it seems like the parry system is very generous about how many frames it takes to activate the parry. And no, it's not a platypus, so don't even ask. Hello there. Sit down. Here we go. Nice and clean. Alright, let's see what we got over here. Nice. I'm kind of surprised that Kratos doesn't essentially... Oh, hi. Hello. Looks like we have more friends. Again, you don't have to fight every single enemy you come across, but it's a good idea to just pound away at them anyway, so that way you can get some extra orbs. as they are very important. Especially for early game, that's for sure. What happened to the other guy? I guess he fell off the face of the earth and died. Oh, hello. So, we have yet another new sort of mechanic. Whenever you're traversing over a tightrope... Come on. There we go. There are two different kinds of attacks you can pull off. A quick jab, which doesn't have a whole lot of range, but it's definitely well worth doing, especially when enemies are all up in your face. And there's also a long swipe, which covers more distance, but takes a bit longer to execute. But it can actually attack multiple enemies at once. And if the enemy is way too close to your grill, just simply push the circle button to grab them with your legs and throw them off. And just send them flying, send them packing. Plus you can get some bonus orbs this way too. So that's pretty nice. And bye. Bye-bye. Just keep in mind though that the grab is pretty slow. And it's also very risky too. Also, as you're going across these tightropes here, enemies will try to pull you down and take you with them to their deaths. And if that happens, man, you are going to have a very bad day. Let me tell you. Why do I feel like there's something up here? Okay, there is not. I'm being paranoid over nothing. Okay. Whoa, what do we have in here? Breaking down this door may actually prove to be beneficial. Oh, hello. Looks like we're back to a previous area. So that's pretty nice, and pretty interesting too. I guess we'll be using this again. Who knew that backtracking is a pretty big thing in certain places? Actually, that is pretty common throughout the entire course of the game, so that is something you kind of have to get used to. Boom, baby! Oh wow, the frame rate just tanked there to like 10 frames per second. Sometimes that can happen. Especially when there are a lot of particle effects going off. But even so. Ooh, what do we have up here? Ooh, pretty. I want it now. I could use more magic power here. That would be fantastic. Alrighty. And to answer your question, no. I will be streaming tomorrow because I do have an appointment to attend to. And besides, I will be streaming again on Wednesday, though. At least that's the plan. Also, thank you for stopping by, Shawaria Mox. Glad that you were able to stick around. Have a good day, buddy. Thanks again. Ooh, what is this? A hologram.
Do not fear, Kratos. I am the Oracle of Athens, here to help you defeat Ares. Find my temple to the east, and I will show you how to murder a god.
It appears as though we have to find something and then eventually we'll be able to fight like a god. As far as what this object is, ooh my, I honestly am not 100% sure. Whoa, Ares is huge! Granted, he is a god and everything, but damn! Going Shadow the Colossus here. Wonder what he's talking about exactly. Well, if I have to guess, this has something to do with his past. Across the battlefield, you see Ares, this great and terrible army is moving towards the Athens. Ooh. Well, believe it or not, we're actually going to be coming back here much later on in the game, and even as we're progressing forward, we will be back here again to go towards another entrance, which is over here on the eastern part of the area. But it's definitely worth going over here early, so that way you can get some extra goodies, which is especially helpful for early game progression. By the way, as far as how long this game is going to last. Oh, hello, Gorgon Eye. Sweet. Anyway, as I was trying to say, as far as how long this game is going to last, I don't see it lasting very long. Like, maybe 3 sessions, most likely. But we'll definitely see. Like I said, I haven't played the game in a long time, and it may end up taking a little bit longer than anticipated, for sure. But we'll most definitely see as we progress through the game. I mean, we're a good ways into the game and we're nearly at the 2-hour mark. So, anyway, I guess I could talk about how I got my hands on... Whoa, okay. It appears as though those people were literally stuck in place and frozen. Like, they were trying to run, but they just couldn't. They just plain couldn't. Anyway, as I was trying to say... Oh dear, looks like we're trapped. I don't even remember if I saved progress recently or not. Oh. Okay, restarting from the checkpoint just respawns me here. That makes sense. Another thing that's worth pointing out too is that Medusa's gaze only has a limited range. So that is definitely something worth noting. Ow. By the way, I think what you're supposed to do here is use these guys to essentially freeze them in place. Afterwards, you make your way to the gate. Although that can be a lot easier said than done, especially given the fact that they move around constantly. And they're also pretty difficult to take down, too. Ooh, let's play. Here, have a nice blade sandwich. Good night. Okay. And that is how it's done. Well, as you can see here, this entire city is essentially going downhill. Plus, if you feel like being a doofus, you can kill innocent civilians if you so desire, and gain a couple of extra red orbs. It won't be much, and honestly, it's not worth it. And besides, Kratos has committed far too many sins as is. By the way, raiding these people's houses, definitely well worth your time. It may not seem like there's much going on in these places, but sometimes you may end up finding a treasure chest or two. And the chests themselves can be very helpful on your journey. So be sure to take the time to raid the houses, raid every single one that you can. And just raid their booties. By the way, I believe for the quick time events, as you're doing them, you are invincible for the duration of the quick time event. So, if you're worried about being shot, don't be, you'll be fine. Okay, let's continue on. Let's continue onward, shall we? By the way, despite Ares being around in the background over there, he's not really much of a threat. It's not like he's going to try to interfere with you or anything. By the way, I don't know if there's any way you can jump on top of the roofs of these houses here, but it looks like there are some chests up there. And I definitely want to get up there. And I really wish you could just double jump immediately after the combo ends. That way you can gain some extra height and just raid these places more easily. Although I think you're supposed to use other parts of the environment to get up to the rooftops of these places. By the way, once you clear out some enemies, or clear out all the enemies in the room, they do not respawn. So that's nice. Get it. Alright, the 5th Gorgon Eye is ours. Actually 6th. So with that, our health is now permanently increased. After you increase your health, you will then have a free health refill, which is absolutely sweet. Sweet in the sense that it can save your life. If you are running low on health, you can use the 6th and final Gorgon Eye to restore all of your health back to where it was before. And increase it even further, which is awesome to see. Okay, let's keep moving now, shall we? What's in here? Sometimes even unmarked chests can yield random rewards. Here. I'm surprised that was enough magic to turn him into stone, but I'm definitely glad that it did. Otherwise, I would have had a really, really rough time. Honestly, some of the bigger enemies in the game is definitely well worth trying to turn them into stone if you possibly can. Another thing you can try to do too is throw them into the air as much as you can. Also, juggling them helps a lot too. Okay, what we got in here? We have another Gorgon Eye. Nice. And in here we have a Phoenix Feather. 2 more, and we can upgrade our magic bar. I find it kind of concerning that we have found more Gorgon Eyes than we've found Phoenix Feathers at this point in the game. But again, I think that holds true to that just holds true with when you acquire magic abilities and such from the gods themselves. Good night. Well worth it. Well worth the time. I never really discussed the different bars that are displayed on screen. I feel as though the bars themselves are very self-explanatory, but in case anyone's confused of what they are, what they represent, let me go ahead and explain. The blue bar is your magic bar, the green one is your health. If your green bar drops to 0, you die, pretty obvious. And the red bar is your orb counter. The more orbs you have, the higher the bar can go. And I'm not too sure how many bars of orbs you can store all at once. If I have to guess, it's probably 99,999. Then again, it could be more. I'm not too sure, but regardless, I feel like throwing that out there in case anyone's confused. Again, I wish that gave you an actual counter of how many orbs that you currently have. But that is something that does happen in God of War 2, where in that game it tells you how many orbs you have in your possession rather than just a bunch of bars and everything like that. So that's something that I feel like throwing out there. I wonder what this barricade is for. Guess we'll never know, as it kinda needs to be destroyed. By the way, there is one more thing worth noting, and that is, in certain places, you may come across areas where you'll get trapped in, and it's clearly indicated by means of a magical barrier. The magical barriers are obvious. They're very obvious and stand out. If you come across one, you won't be able to go back any further than those barriers. And for the most part, in order to take them down, you have to defeat all the enemies that are in the area. Now, that I know is the only way to bring down those kinds of barriers. Figure I throw that out there. But at this point, now we're learning about rope swinging, or at least we did learn about them. Very self-explanatory, just jump to the rope, push and hold the circle button to swing on the ropes to and fro, and push the X button to release. It's honestly the best way of getting around. Welcome to the Athens Town Square. And here we have a room of nothingness, and a random chest for some reason. Not sure what's up with that. But like I said, definitely well worth going off the beaten path to find hidden goodies, chests, etc. You may never know what you may find. I wonder if I can fight those things right now. They look like harpies. I think if you follow them down, I think everyone just runs off the face of the earth and just dies. Can you really blame them? They're kind of running for their lives here. Did that person just materialize and dematerialize? Oh crap. Hi there. Okay, I guess another thing you could do is slaughter innocent civilians who are just trying to run for their lives to gain some extra health if you need that. So that's another means of trying to go about things, if you so desire. Oh my god. Really? I did not mean to target you. Oh, god dang it. Okay, so, like I mentioned before about the ogres not having genitalia in this game, this one is one of those things where it also does not have genitalia. So it's kind of gender neutral. Ow! Dude, seriously, sit down! Oh my god, get out of my way! Stupid humans! Why do you always have to be in my frickin' way? Oh yeah, that feels good. Oh great, another one. That's great. Oh, great. A second one? This would be a good opportunity to unleash Rage of the Gods if you happen to have it. But like I said, that's something you do have to build up over time. Also, the Medusa's gaze ability also is a great benefit to have here, as it can really be helpful when dealing with these huge enemies. Actually, no, never mind. They're not affected by it. That makes sense. They're technically a Gorgon species, and as such, they're not affected by Medusa's gaze. One more thing worth noting when it comes to unleashing magical attacks and everything is... oh my god. Thank you! You'll know if you have enough to unleash a magical move if its icon is yellow, it has a golden glow around it. That means that the ability can be used. Stupid frickin' troll. Well, that was kinda lame. Again, thankfully there are plenty of people who you can slaughter just to gain some extra health. Too bad they don't have any sort of magic power. Otherwise, that would make things so much easier. Really? Why didn't it register?
Let the rage of the gods drive your blades, Kratos.
A little late for that, don't you think, game? Ouch. Oh yeah, that feels good. Finally. Also, welcome to the stream, Mohit. I'm glad that I am playing your favorite game here today. Personally, I love the God of War series. I always have. Though I've only played like the first two games and also the PlayStation Portable games here via PS3. I haven't played Ascension or the new God of War game on the PS4. I do have the new God of War game, I just don't have Ascension yet. Though, from what I can tell and from what I hear, Ascension really isn't that worth it. It really isn't. As it's just more the same, and it's just... okay, what's up with these people just running into the wall here? Let's just end their suffering now, shall we? Just to be fully healed up and ready to go. Ready for the next part over here. Wow, what a mysterious place. This looks like some sort of Roman museum. Ooh. Hello. What do we have here? I guess another thing worth noting is be on the lookout for random cracks in the environment. That could mean that you may be able to get some...
Stay back! Keep away from me!
Oh dear. A woman running for her life and is scared of us. I wonder why that is. I'm not really going to be doing that anytime soon, unfortunately. I kind of want to go through the God of War timeline in order. What do we have in here? Is this progression or is this a hidden area? I honestly can't tell. It looks as though this may be a hidden area, but I'm going to keep exploring for a bit, and we're definitely going to find out, for sure. I don't really need any sort of magic power, as I'm completely full on that. Okay, so the orbs weren't really that useful. I mean, this room didn't really contain very much. Just a red orb chest. That's it. Okay.
Stay away!
Too bad! I want to give you a great big hug.
I know who you are. I know what you've done. Monster.
Wait.
Stay back! Get away from me!
Oh, man. Can you really blame the woman for what we've done all these years? Honestly.
Stay away! Don't come near me! Keep away!
Oh dear. Well, that definitely sucks. Poor lady. Whatever. It's not like we have more blood on our hands. She took herself out with style. Okay, I really shouldn't joke about that. But even so. This is God of War we're talking about here. It's fun to make fun of the unfortunate every now and again. Ooh, another phoenix feather. Good. Glad to have that. I wonder what's over here. Hatch is locked. Okay, I see now. We kind of have to jump back down and grab the key of which this woman was carrying. Yoink! You kind of have to take the key in order to progress. I mean, even if you would leave it, you wouldn't be able to go any further. Unless you would somehow glitch through the wall or something. Oh, hello, we have new enemy types. So, in order to deal with these magic shield-wielding enemies, we have to perform a certain combo of square, square, triangle. That makes sense. Okay. Okay, and there's no holding involved. There we go. I just love going ham on these kinds of enemies. I mean, for the most part, shield enemies aren't the worst things ever, but they do take quite a beating in order to take the shields out. Thankfully, they're pretty easy to deal with, for the most part. I think at later points in the game, they'll become even harder to deal with. So, if you want to deal with these shield enemies in a quick fashion, just do square, square, triangle, and just wail on them. And honestly, if you see them, those should be your first targets. Otherwise, they'll become increasingly annoying to deal with. Oh, hello there, Medusas. How you all doing? You ready to party? Ready to dance? Scream my name! Oh dear. One thing about these Gorgon gazes is that if you're in the air when the gazes are going off, it's very likely that you'll end up getting frozen as a statue and you will crumble upon landing. Which, that is not fun to deal with at all. As that results in instant death. It's kind of surprising that the enemies here are going to start unleashing all their power and start spawning in now, as opposed to earlier. Again, that does sort of make sense, but at the same time, it's very annoying. I could have swore I saw a ladder here. Yep. I wonder what's down here besides more Medusas. By the way, I think the amount of time it takes for you to become frozen in the Gorgon gaze is dependent on the difficulty. The higher the difficulty, the less time it takes for you to become frozen. So that's something worth mentioning, I think. You can also see the amount of time has passed upon being frozen. The whiter and more gray that Kratos becomes, the closer you are to becoming stoned. And no, I don't mean that in the worst way possible. I mean, like, literally stone. Turn to stone. Okay, that was easy. Okay, 1510. Still not enough for upgrade on the Medusa's Gaze yet. I don't think we'll get enough magic power or just enough red orbs for quite some time, which is pretty dang dumb if you ask me. But oh well, gotta do what I gotta do. Okay. Also, I'm not too sure, but I feel as though there should be like some sort of trophy you can get for using every single save point. Then again, maybe that's from Tales of Vesperia I'm thinking of that has that sort of trophy requirement. And off we go. Ooh, another save point. By the way, despite the linearity of this game and its nature, it still has to load in assets from later points in the level, too. So that's something you need to keep in mind as you're progressing. Okay, let's see what we got this way.
Go, go, go!
Oh dear. Looks like someone's having a very bad day. Oh boy. That's definitely fun. Okay. Huh. That's interesting. Complete the game in under 5 hours. Funny enough, Resident Evil 5 has the same sort of thing with one of its major rewards that you can get. But we're playing God of War here, not Resident Evil 5 today. Okay, so this point now teaches us that we can double jump off of walls from one side to another, which is essentially a very much required skill in order to progress. So again, something to keep in mind. What the heck is that? Ooh! Damn! Well, looks like we have some Shadow Masters, I guess, if you can call them that. Oh, damn. Man, I love that. Essentially, these guys are kind of annoying, but they're not the worst things ever. They move incredibly fast and also traverse underground. So as a result, they are very fast, very agile, and can murder you if you're not careful. I guess another thing you could do is use Medusa's Gaze to freeze them in place. Though it does take a little bit of time to execute that. So that is something you do have to keep in mind. Okay. Oh, hi. How you all doing? Very nice. It appears there are still some enemies that are lurking around and about. Kind of have to deal with that relatively quickly. Another Gorgon Eye. Still have not had enough Phoenix Feathers to increase my magic. That I'm kind of concerned with. But even if I don't find it, I can always use a walkthrough for a New Game Plus playthrough to figure out where it is I have to go. Of course, I'll try to find as many things as I can during my first playthrough, as that is relatively, or very important rather. Oh, great. Just great. Oh, yeah! Way to go! I think the best way of dealing with these enemies here that love to run around underground and everything is... Oh, thank God I managed to get that just before kicking the bucket. Another way you can deal with them, other than juggling them around, which honestly I feel as though that's the best way of dealing with these guys, is friendly fire. Friendly fire is a very real thing in this game, and it can be very beneficial to essentially do friendly fire and just completely annihilate these enemies here. Oh, that feels good. Goodbye. The thing about executing heavy attacks is you won't be able to evade during a heavy attack as it's going off. So that's something you kind of have to keep in mind. And you won't be able to dodge in the air either, so... something to keep in mind. There we go. Nice and easy. Phew. That was quite a lot of fun to deal with. Oh, man. How much? Okay, 2078. We still got a long way to go before we can purchase the upgrade for the Medusa Gaze. Excellent! Another Phoenix Feather! Finally, we got the first upgrade to our magic bar and a free magic refill to boot, which is absolutely sweet. Definitely happy to see that. That is for sure. Like I said, it's definitely well worth taking the going off the beaten path so you can find additional goodies. The goodies really are very beneficial, especially for like late game. Just saying. Well worth going after during your first playthrough. Oh dear. Well, those guys won't be coming back anytime soon. They've unfortunately been banished to the Shadow Realm. Sorry, couldn't resist. Had to bring that up because lol. Hello. Nice. Honestly, one of the best ways of acquiring, also, this song is badass. Oh, hello. Ow, 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 ow. Ouchie, ouch. Now I kind of want to go back and see if I can grab the red orb chest here. So I have a feeling that... Dang it! Well, that sucked.
Go, go, go! Ares has breached the city!
Okay. Let's try that again now, shall we? There might be another way I can grab those, that chest over there. Probably at a later point. Yeah, definitely. Or I can, just go down here instead. This works too. Best of all, if you, go after this red chest here, you'll, be able to use that little, quote-unquote drawbridge as a means of cover. Ouch. These pillars are also your best friends, so that way, you don't end up getting shot when trying to, traverse over large gaps such as these. By the way, I'm not too sure if there's any way you can actually traverse across the gap where the enemies are located. Even if there is, I'm not 100% sure. Also, random bridge. As far as which direction I should go, I think in there is progression. This leads to something else. A red barricade. This could lead to something. As far as what that is. Here we have what seems to be a portable gondola. And just like with the other gondola that we worked with before, this also has infinite ammo, which is sweet. But the thing to keep in mind about this thing is that this thing is portable. So we kind of have to grab it and push it. And kick it too. That is another way we can move this thing around. Also, the more that you hold the charge to kick this thing, or even blocks for that matter, the further the object will go. Just keep in mind, there are some areas of which you can't grab this thing. You can't really grab it in too many places. So, that's something worth mentioning. Okay, now I'm really curious about the save point area. Is that just a means of a safety net? Or is that progression? I honestly don't know. Okay. Moving that there was not a good idea. Not yet. Oh, hello. More friends! Man, I love doing that. Nice yo-yo action. Hello. I know you all want hugs, but wait your turn. Wait your turn, buddy. You'll be fine. There are plenty of hugs to go around. One for everyone. Man, I love doing that. Wow. 126 hit combo, and we even got a trophy for that too, which is sweet. I think what that entails is if you hit a 100 hit combo, then you'll gain a trophy as a result. I'm not sure how many combos you can acquire, or how many trophies are tied to combos. But if I have to guess, it's a pretty decent amount. Okay, at this point, I think I am going to go ahead and turn back real quick just to see what it is that save point was all about. Because I have a feeling that that save point is just the safety net, and the area I was going through leads to progression. Then again, maybe this is progression. Again, good idea to save progress every now and again, so that way you don't end up screwing yourself out of a collectible. Let's see what's over here first. This may lead to something, or it could, okay. It's progression. Damn, that was sweet. Guess I'll deal with these guys first, and then I'll start heading back the other way. So essentially the name of the game is trying to nail as many combos as you can and keep that combo going for as long as humanly possible. This way you can gain a ton of orbs as bonuses for obtaining such a high combo. And I think as long as you don't get hit, the combo can still keep going. However, if you're not attacking for any longer than about 2 seconds, then the combo just stops and resets. Definitely need magic power. Hello there, Heartbeat. Can you please die? Thank you very much. Yeah, I just have a feeling that the way I was going before, that leads to something else. I honestly don't know. Like I said, long time since I've last played this game, and I'm not sure which paths lead to where. It just seems to me that this path leads to progression, or it could be the other path that I went through before. We do have to turn this thing over to the side. Thankfully, this puzzle is really easy to solve. Just have to first move it over to this cog thing, rotate it in one direction, move it off, rotate the cog again, and then bring this thing back down. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So yeah, the God of War games, despite having some button mashing elements, and a lot of them, it also has some light puzzle solving elements too. Kind of like The Legend of Zelda, in a sense, which is sweet. Yeah, that's progression. I was going the progressive way. Okay then, time to head back. Let's check out the rooftops, as I have a feeling that the rooftops may lead to someplace good. Then again, maybe I'm supposed to go back that way after I get the next power-up. Funny how we gotten basically we're going to be getting 3 out of the 4 power-ups within the first session here. Yeah, there are 4 power-ups pretty much, although I think there's technically a 5th power-up that you can obtain later on in the game. However, that does take a little bit of time to acquire. And it too has its own fair share of abilities. so that's something worth mentioning. Definitely glad I went this way. Otherwise, I probably would have missed out on another Gorgon Eye. Go away, Harpy. Oh, man. By the way, I haven't mentioned this yet, but another game that I know of that has a trophy tied to completing the game under 5 hours is Kingdom Hearts, the first Kingdom Hearts game, believe it or not. Ow. Okay, I'm kind of surprised that I was able to maintain as much momentum as that. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, I get it. We need the power-up that's in the... Ouch! Dang it! Man, how far back do I have to go? Am I really this far back? Do I have to restart the entire puzzle thing? No. I think the checkpoint was marked for when I broke down this door. Just gotta remember to go back towards the rooftops after I get this. That way I can pick up the Gorgon Eye that I previously left behind after my death. Okay. Let's see what we got over here.
Lord Zeus.
Kratos, you grow stronger as your journey continues. But if you are to succeed in your quest, you will need my aid. I offer you the power of the greatest of all the gods, the father of Olympus. I offer you the power of Zeus. Take this weapon, Kratos. Take this power and use it to defeat your enemies.
Nice. And with that, we have acquired Zeus's Fury. So, Zeus's Fury is...
You have done well, Kratos. Go with the gods. Go forth in the name of Olympus.
With this ability, we now have a means of activating a ranged attack. So that is awesome. It acts like a some sort of ranged weapon. So with it, we can use the Wrath of Zeus to destroy any enemy that are within our line of sight. Just push and hold L2 to activate the ability and push square to fire. Plus, we can go all rapid fire if we want. Just keep in mind, it does cost more and more magic as you're using it. So that is something you do need to keep in mind. And like I said, I'm heading back to the rooftops now. So that way I can pick up the things that I have unfortunately lost. And also some other very, very useful items too. Now that we have a means of dealing with the archers from across the way, now we can kill them and also claim our just reward. Definitely need more magic power right now. Hello there, Harpy. Even if you parry a Harpy attack, it's not like it'll come around and try to I don't even remember what I was trying to say, but regardless. One thing to keep in mind is, while you're using Zeus's Fury, you are going to be left vulnerable, which does really suck. But, again, it is something you kind of have to deal with as you're using this ability. But as we progress and get more and more powerful later on, we'll be able to upgrade this ability so much that it will be absolutely lethal at a long range. speaking of which, this ability doesn't cost very much red orbs to upgrade, so that's nice. Only about 700. Or a little over 700. And with the upgrade, our first one is stronger attacks, plus the Might of Zeus. Hold L2 and triangle to charge the attack and fire away. Thankfully, with the Zeus's with this ability here, magic is only drained after you throw a lightning bolt. And with the charge attack too. With the charge attack, it does drain more magic power, but it deals a lot more damage as a result. So, again, high risk, high reward kind of ability to use. There we go. Okay, I think the rooftops were technically progression. Again, I'm not 100% sure. Thankfully, there is opportunity for me to go back if I need to, which I'm probably going to go ahead and do. Yeah, definitely. Okay. At least with this, we activated a shortcut to back to an earlier part of this area. Oh, hi. How y'all doing? Oh, these things are most definitely annoying. Plus, they have a pretty big tendency to try and defend their friends. But if one of their friends happens to be frozen, then that's great for you because, again, friendly fire is a thing. And thankfully, once you turn these guys into stone, they don't take very much attacking rounds to completely destroy them. But damn, can they deal a lot of damage. Phew! Damn, that was kind of scary. But I'm glad that was dealt with. Plus, we gained some extra orbs to boot, too, which is really, really sweet. Okay. Definitely gonna go ahead and start heading back this way to see what else I can find. I have a feeling that this room is something special. We'll definitely see. Another thing you can do to gain a couple of red orbs here and there is destroying bits and pieces of the environment, such as pots, vases, etc. Hello, what do we have in here? We have what magic power. Here we have a phoenix feather. And I'm gonna guess a Gorgon eye? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I could definitely use some additional health right now. And again, it was definitely worth going back this way for sure. Definitely glad I did. Otherwise, I would have missed out on some really valuable goodies. Okay. Gonna go ahead and save my progress again, because might as well, I have the opportunity to do it. And like I said, it's always wise to try to save your progress as often as possible. Unless you're in a speedrun setting, in which case, saving is not exactly the most viable option, as that wastes a ton of time. Alright. Now let's head on up this way and see what we can deal with.
You! I must get across! Release the lever! Extend the bridge!
No!
I won't let them get me. They won't get across. These monsters, they'll tear me apart.
Coward.
Is it me, or does that guy look like something you'd see on, like, the Nintendo 64? By the way, you need Zeus's Fury in order to defeat that guy, as he will not release that lever otherwise. So, yep, we gotta dirty our hands even more. Even more than what we've already done. So if you come up here any earlier, you wouldn't be able to get across here. So, definitely well worth the trip, for sure. Up we go. Another Phoenix Feather. Wow. Been getting these fairly often. I like that. Along with the Gorgon Eyes, too. They definitely help out a lot. It's good to see that I have been tracking them down relatively easily.
Let the rage of the gods drive your blade, Kratos.
It appears as though my Rage of the Gods meter has been filled, but it doesn't look like it is. Then again, maybe it is available, and it's just not flashing for some reason. Really? Okay, anyone else left in this room? One thing I kind of wish that the Rage of the Gods power did was refill your magic and health. Sadly, that's not how it works. You do have to find chests and also find other means of being able to restore your power if need be. Okay. Sometimes you may come across platforms of which act like elevators. Press down on the switch and you should be able to get through perfectly fine. It does take a little bit of time to press them down, so you kind of have to stay on the switch for a little while. So that's something worth mentioning.
Oracle!
Kratos! Praise Athena, you've arrived! Ah! No! Kratos! Kratos, find me! You must find me! Athens depends on it!
Oh dear, looks like the Oracle has been kidnapped. Great, we have another one of these sorts of adventures, huh? Okay, well, as you can see, we're back in Athens town square. So, cool. Also, another opportunity to save progress. Definitely going to take the time to do that. And again, if you missed anything prior, you can use this as an opportunity to continue to scan this entire area to find whatever it is you're missing. So, that's something to keep in mind. Hello there, friends. How you doing? I guess one thing you could do to help make things a bit easier on yourself is, if you're running low on health and you're in another area, after you activate a cutscene, you could use that as a means to essentially kill yourself and refill your health and magic power. But because of the whole checkpoint system not being clearly marked, you need to be careful when considering that as an option, as you may end up unintentionally going back further than you need to. Good night. Nope, don't think so. don't care if I activated the Rage of the Gods at a fairly poor time. I really don't. I just want to kill everyone in sight right now. Besides, I was kind of low health anyway, and I kind of needed it. Still don't have enough for the Medusa Gaze yet. I should have enough relatively shortly, so that's good news. Speaking of good news, health and magic! Yay! Thank you! Just what I needed. Holy guacamole, man! Okay, welcome to the Temple of the Oracle.
Kratos! Kratos! Help me!
Couldn't we have used Zeus's rage to zap the Harpies out from the sky? Then again, that probably would have hurt the Oracle more than anything. But it's just a bit of strange logic that is kind of weird to me. By the way, if you're in the middle of a light hit combo, you could theoretically grab a Harpy or two and just start going to town with it. Also, the grab range for Kratos is relatively large and very, very generous. Ooh, oh my god. Hello. Had no idea you all were here. Hello. I don't want to do that. And good. By the way, you can also use Zeus's Rage or something to that extent anyway, and just you can use that as a means to take out aerial enemies very easily, such as Harpies. But honestly, I feel it's more fun to just grab them by the frickin' wings and rip them clean off. What's more is that they'll kill them instantly, which is awesome. All done.
Good, my boy. Good. Athena has chosen wisely. I knew it was so.
Who are you?
So, you have the blades, the skin as pale as the moon. You are the one indeed. Perhaps Athens will survive at that. But be careful. Don't want you dying before I'm done with this grave.
A grave? In the middle of a battle? Who will occupy it, old man?
You will, my son. Oh, I've got a lot of digging to do indeed. All will be revealed in good time. And when all appears to be lost, Kratos, I will be there to help.
I wonder what that's all about. Seems to be foreshadowing something coming in the future.
Don't disturb me now, son. I've got my work to do, and you have yours, and precious little time left to do either.
Okay. Seems perfectly legit to me. Alright, well with that, let's see. I know we're slowly approaching the 3-hour mark. Ow, my stomach. Ooh! More power! Sweet. Definitely needed that. Oh, damn it, my stomach. Why is this pain so throbbing? Ooh, another Phoenix Feather. Hopefully I'll be able to upgrade that relatively soon. Still not enough for the Medusa upgrade yet. That's kind of lame. Alrighty. I'm going to keep going for a little bit longer until we reach the next save point, as we still have a bit of a ways to go before we're done with the first act. So, let's go. Let's finish this act up. Ooh, what's this? Oh wow, more harpies. More harpy ladies. Just don't censor the breasts, whatever you do. Otherwise, that's a big no-no. And you'll be turned to 4Kids Entertainment, or 4K Media. By the way, I believe the harpies here are going to be coming at you in an endless swarm. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be coming at you endlessly. So you kind of have to move your booty. And besides, they don't produce very many red orbs anyway, because of them being so easy to take down and everything. Speaking of which, am I not gaining anymore? Oh, yeah, I am. Okay. There is a puzzle that we do need to solve in this room. However, in order to solve it, we need to head on up to the second story. Why does this part of the room remind me of Ganon's Tower from The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time? Honestly, I don't get it. But I don't care. Wow, literally a couple of orbs away from being able to upgrade the Medusa games. Goodbye. Perfect. Just enough. Give me that power! By the way, you don't have to spend the required amount of red orbs all at once. You can slowly work on it and give it more and more until eventually you have enough. So, you don't have to go all in at once if you don't want to. So with this, we have Medusa's Gaze, level 2. It has a stronger freeze beam, it has the ability to use the Gorgon Flash, which is L2 and triangle, which instantly freezes a single enemy, and you can even execute the Gorgon Flash in the air by pushing L2, while in the air. Okay, cool. So our next ability that we're going to be working on, potentially, is going to be the Blades of Chaos again. Oh dear. Well, that was kind of lame. Again, I'm kind of surprised that we managed to get just enough to upgrade every single ability up to this point in the game, up to level 2, which is awesome. Okay. These harpies are unfortunately going to be very, very annoying. And they have a tendency to throw you off of these frickin' beams. So I think if you kill enough of them, you'll eventually get them to stop spawning for just a few moments. And as a result, you'll be able to just move on your merry way. Then again, I'm not 100% sure if that's the case or not. But regardless, you do have to move fast across these beams. Otherwise, yeah, the harpies will just knock you down. Okay. Let's keep moving. Hopefully the harpies won't get in my way again, but knowing my luck, they most certainly will. What's even more annoying is that
What's with all these harpies attacking?
Okay. I think after a while, Kratos will chime in to say, hey, I gotta do something about these harpies just constantly coming in. That does make sense. And thankfully, it should be easy enough to figure this out. Though, I can't believe I didn't even think about this sooner. Okay, there's the first hole all sealed up. By the way, you would think you would be able to just kill all these harpies endlessly and gain an infinite supply of red orbs. Well, you can't do that. After a while, the harpies will stop giving out red orbs, unfortunately. So you kind of have to be quick with sealing these holes here. A little bit more. There we go. That should be enough to deal with them. Now just to clean up the rest of these frickin' things. Oh great, there's more. You gotta be kidding me. There's still more of them? What did I miss? Well, besides a red chest I didn't even realize was there, along with this. Ow. Okay, that works. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that that even worked. Okay. Maybe there's another statue I need to mess with. That would make sense, given the circumstances here. Honestly, I don't really see anything else I can use here. That's kind of unfortunate. Well then. Maybe with the statues in place I can move on, maybe? Damn it. Maybe the harpies will stop coming at some point. Then again, who knows? One annoying thing about these things is the fact that while you're traversing over tightrope sections such as these across these beams, you can't attack at all. The only way you can attack is if you jump into the air. That's the only way you can defend yourself. Huh. Okay, there was nothing over there after all. Alright. Well, that was kinda pointless. But hey, sometimes it's worth the look around. It's worth exploring every now and again. Damn it.
Never get across with all these harpies attacking.
Again, I would love to finish these guys off and not have to deal with them. But, sadly, we don't have enough statues to block all the harpies and all the holes of which they're coming from. So we kind of have to deal with what we're given and just bounce around until eventually we get across to where we need to be. And hopefully not get killed in the process. Dang it! By the way, I think once you move a statue towards one of the holes where the harpies come out of, if you try to pull that statue out and try to move it elsewhere, more harpies will appear. So that's definitely something that you don't want to do. So again, the only real way you're going to be able to defend yourself on these beams here is turn into an attack helicopter. Also, come on, quit falling. Oh my god, get up! Well, that was kind of an interesting kind of jump. There's gotta be another statue I can use. Oh, I see. I didn't put this in the right place. No wonder. There we go. That figures. I thought I put it in the right location, but apparently not. So I just made things harder on myself unintentionally. Okay. Well, at least now that the harpy problem is completely dealt with, we can finally move on. And I am at the 3-hour mark, so at this point now, once we reach the next save point, I am going to go ahead and call it a day, because it is getting late, and I feel as though now's a good time as any just call it a day, because the next part is going to be even more fun. So, with that, I'm done here for today. This is General Snivy with the God of War playthrough. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you were able to attend the live stream live, thank you for attending. Next time, more carnage, more bloodshed, more blood, sweat, and tears, as we try to figure out what the heck happened with Kratos' past. How is it that he is the way he is today, and what it is we can do about it, and maybe we can learn more about the gods and their powers and the origins of everything that's here. Anywho, all this and more will be revealed next time. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all on the flip side.